Hello everybody and welcome back to the Overlap Breakdown channel. Unfortunately today you are not joined by me and my co-host Umir, you are just joined by me as I look to break down why Ruben Amorim's first Manchester United signing is the 20-year-old Danish wing-back Patrick Dorgu, and why the young lad could fix some of Manchester United's in and out of possession issues in the three at the back structure. Okay, so I'm going to kickstart off straight away on Patrick Dorgu. Manchester United have signed him for a €30 million upfront fee with a €5 million in add-ons, reported by Fabrizio Romano, and he will be travelling to Manchester United on Thursday, which is tomorrow at the time of recording. And I want to run through straight away what kind of player he is. So this season at Lecce, he's actually had a bit of an interesting time because he's been playing off the right wing as much as he's actually been playing at left wing back. So this usually means that some of his upfront numbers are actually quite skewed when it comes to stuff. So if we actually look at Patrick Dorgu's Serie A squad rank in terms of Lecce players, he's top for pretty much every single carry metric, passing metric, and shot creating actions metric. And this is really interesting when we're looking at the data because it's really important that we contextualise the data so we know exactly what we're looking at. So if someone's playing right wing but they're classed as a wing back, they're obviously going to have more attacking involvement. So I've actually got some really good data just to show you, just to contextualise what I'm trying to say. So you can see the attacking sequence involvements for defenders only in the Serie A for this season. Patrick Dorgu is behind only Theo Hernandez, Andrea Cambiaso and Federico Di Marco, who are three of the best wing backs in the division and are all probably £60-70 million players at the minimum. Following on from him is Giovanni Di Lorenzo, Dodo, Mateus Oliveira and so on. And I just want to obviously kick that on now into looking at Lecce's attacking sequence involvement, where he ranks second, and we can see that the bars basically illustrate how he's having an attacking sequence involvement. So the red bar is shooting, the yellow bar is chance created, and the clear bar is a build up to a shot. So you can actually see that his build up involvement leading up to a shot is very, very high, which is good because Manchester United are going to be using a possession based style in which they have to focus on getting through with the wing backs primarily. As we can see, as I mentioned at the top of this video, his position map this season has been all over the place. We can see he's even had minutes in the central attacking midfield positions, the central midfield positions. He's played right back in a 4-back, and he's also played a lot of his minutes this season at right wing, 35% of them to be exact. But if we throw this back onto last season, we can actually see that he played 58% of his minutes at left back, 30% at left mid, and only 6% at the right wing spot, showing that last season he actually played more as a traditional left wing back. And that is probably where he's going to play for Manchester United. We can see his chance creating carries from that last season all coming inside and outside the left hand channel, which we'll get onto later. But if we look at again this season, we can see that his chance creating carries are both coming from the left hand side and the right hand side. So straight away there is a potential for Ruben Amorim to use Patrick Dorgu's versatility. We've seen Ruben Amorim use the wrong footed wing back on the other side for simple passes into midfield, and this is something that I don't know if we'll see too much with Patrick Dorgu given his profile, but is definitely something that Ruben Amorim likes to do. So why is it Patrick Dorgu that Ruben Amorim has gone for? So what I've actually got for you right here is a comparison between Patrick Dorgu so far this season and the entirety of last season against the players who have played wing-back consistently under Amorim, which is Amad Diallo, Mazraoui and Diogo Dalot. And what we can see straight away from the numbers is that the chances created on average for Patrick Dorgu are much higher than Mazraoui and Dalot under Amorim in both of Dorgu's seasons at Lecce so far. We can also see that his dribble numbers are higher than Mazraoui and Dalot under Amorim so far, and his total carry progressiveness is actually much higher than both of them too also. But what we can actually see as we look further down it is that his defensive involvement isn't actually anywhere near Dalot and Mazraoui, especially when it comes to the tackles, the interceptions, and his on-ball stuff in terms of touches and passing accuracy is less so than Mazraoui and Dalot, obviously because they are playing in a more possession-based team. When we look at his dribble passed by opponents numbers per 90, there is a 0.5 0.4 increase across last season to this season. And that probably comes down to him playing a lot of minutes at right wing or at right back. But we can see when he played the large majority of his minutes at left wing back last season, he's actually got a less dribble pass per 90 number than Mazraoui. So when we look at this data set, we can actually kind of get a gist of what Manchester United are looking for in this signing. We're looking for him to create more chances from open play, create more crosses into the box, dribble more, carry the ball further forward, and also be less susceptible to being taken on when defending in them wing-back positions. So this is what I wanted to show you just in terms of how he stacks up against Manchester United's wing-backs, and I know the leagues are different, but this is just giving you an idea of the gaps he will plug for Manchester United in the wing-back positions and where he actually makes up for their inefficiencies. So how does Patrick Dorgu fit into Ruben Amorim's Manchester United team tactically? Since Ruben Amorim's come in, Manchester United have used a clear 3-4-3 structure or a 3-4-2-1 structure, however you want to look at it. And when it moves into the attacking phase, it does become that 3-2-2-3 with a box midfield in the centre with the two 10s, the two sitting midfielders, and then the wing-backs holding the width either side of the 9. And something that I found really interesting about Ruben Amorim's in-possession structure at Manchester United is just how static it actually can be. And we did cover this on the channel. There wasn't too many rotations. We often see your likes of Arsenal's, your Cities often rotating positions to create disorganisation for the opposition. There isn't too much of that for Ruben Amorim. And what that requires is individual quality and 1v1 quality more importantly. We notice when Amad Diallo plays at right wing back or Garnacho is playing off the left wing, we can see much more of directness in Manchester United's play as they like to get down to the line and they like to create damage near enough around the box. And that is something that Patrick Dorgu will bring to Manchester United. He's a very, very ferocious carrier, he's a direct dribbler, and he likes to attack both inside and outside spaces. And what I mean by this is when Alejandro Garnacho has most recently played in the left 10 position for Manchester United, Ruben Amorim has used something quite interesting where he likes to put Garnacho on the byline as well as playing him inside. So he rotates with the left-sided wing-back. Now this is very, very good when you're looking at Patrick Dorgu's skill set. As we mentioned before, his chance created carries map all come from not only outside but inside the pitch too. And I've got a few game scenarios now to show you just what that looks like. So I've got a game situation here in the Juventus game at home where we can see Patrick Dorgu in a traditional left-back position. There's a loose pass from Juventus and he just jumps on the ball, recovers the ball well, and he's positioned himself inside the half space with their left winger of Lecce rotating out to the flank. And something that Patrick Dorgu really likes to do on the ball is as soon as the first pass goes, he likes to go with it. So he's very, very penetrative in behind and he's a very, very good off-the-ball mover. And like we mentioned before, Ruben Amorim's in-possession structure is very static. There's not a lot of movement in behind and it requires top-end physicality and pace to break the opposition's lines and cause threat. And we can see in this game against Juventus, he bursts into that left half space, gets beyond the Juventus defenders, gets to the byline, delivers across to the back post, which hasn't got a great execution. But we can sort of see how these dynamics can work in a Manchester United 3-4-3, especially when he's combined with a player like Alejandro Garnacho. And again, I've got another example here from the Napoli game where we can see he's picked up the ball again in this narrower left wing back position and he drives forward, he plays a pass off his teammate, and again, as soon as that pass has gone into his teammate's feet, he's looking to penetrate the space in behind left by Napoli. And this is something that is very, very consistent with Dorgu's game. He's a very, very fast, strong and athletic player and he's incredible off the ball in terms of getting in behind, and he's actually almost got a winger's mentality, and this does make sense as to why he's played right wing, because he attacks space so well and very intelligently, and he does often get to the byline before cutting it back. Again, we've got another example here, but in this example, Lecce are actually on the ball and they're not regaining the ball high. And this is what we'll probably see more or less under Ruben Amorim. We can see how the central midfielder is just standing on the ball, not with any pressure on him. But we can see Patrick Dorgu making that outside to inside diagonal run between the centre halves. And he gets the ball over the top, runs into the channel, and again gets to the line in order to a position to cut it back across the box. And this is something that we've seen a lot under Ruben Amorim, where Players are getting to the line, they're trying to cut it back, but they can't fashion the situation like enough for them to create high quality chances from cutbacks. And we often seen him spoke about Mason Mount having this ability to get beyond the last line with his really intelligent off the ball movement, and I think this is something that Dorgu will offer Manchester United going forward. So this begs the question, what are Patrick Dorgu's standout abilities? Well, I will definitely say in comparison to the Premier League and what Manchester United will be looking for, I think his straight line speed is very, very good. I think he's running between both boxes, he's really intelligent, he's a forward thinking player. Every pass he plays, the first instinct is to break lines and move forward. He's a carry first player, so he's much more of a dribbler than a passer, but like we've said before, I think when we look at Manchester United in build-up, they're often looking to circulate the ball within the back three and the goalkeeper, and then use the wing-backs to break forward, break through the press, carry forward and run in behind. And I think that sort of stipulates what Patrick Dorgu's game is about. He's got good attacking penetration. We've just spoke about his off-the-ball movement being something that Ruben Amorim will probably look at and think that will get us an extra 2 or 3 goals in the coming weeks. And I just like his versatility in terms of playing inside and outside the pitch. And I'm looking at the way Manchester United are using the likes of Alejandro Garnacho most recently, where they're moving Mazraoui and Dalot inside the pitch to accommodate for Garnacho to play on the wing and get 1v1 with his fullback more often. And I think if them two combine, there could be a really healthy combination there of direct players, threatening players, getting in behind, getting to the line, cutbacks, crosses. They're both very, nippy players, mobile players, 1v1, and I think that could create a really good dynamic on that left-hand side. And this addresses the physical flooring. Now, I know this is probably one of the toughest areas of players to scout, because we often don't know how to address physical, capacity, capabilities across leagues, and it's one of the hardest things for me to do in football. And I think he's got really good physical power. I think he's got standout physical power in the Serie A. I think he's very fast, as we've mentioned. I think he's got a great leap on him, and I actually think he's defensively a bit shaky technically, but can keep up physically. And it's very hard to imagine how he's going to cross-compare from the leagues, but I would say this is a very much above average or very good physical player in the Serie A. So at most, if he does come to the Premier League, you expect a good level of physicality, and that is what I do expect too. But this doesn't mean that Patrick Dorgu is a spotless signing by any means. He's a very, very young player, he's a very, very inexperienced player, and even though he's been capped for his country, he's not played as many minutes as you would want for a player who's probably going to come in and start straight away. And that does leave a lot to be questioned about this signing. And whilst the kid is only 20 years old, it is very fair to offer the flip side of the argument for the signing. Defensively, 1v1 has been probably the most highlighted area since we've signed him. I think his back post defending, even though he's got a good leap, he can just lose concentration and let his man run in behind him. And I do think defensively 1v1, he does like to get very, very much touch tight and likes to go very physical and try and muscle them off the ball, but they do often get the jump on him. And this is something that, yes, we want to think about the wing backs at Manchester United being forward thinking, but they do have to have defensively consistent technical ability and the way they're reading their man, and this is something that he will improve on, and hopefully we're in a better structure. Manchester United have been pretty good off the ball in terms of defending in a block. We can see more of that from Patrick Dorgu. I think most of it, for me, on the ball, his decision-making can improve. He's a very interesting player on the ball. As we like to say, he wants to pass and then move forward, and that is going to become something that we're going to see a lot. He does like to play these very risk-taking balls in behind, these risk-taking balls through the lines and then running beyond. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can adapt to that slower possession-based approach that we've seen under Ruben Amorim, where the ball is constantly circulating, but then he can also combine that composure on the ball with these ideas to always go fast and always go in behind. And it will be interesting. And I think last but not least, the main concern is, again, the Serie A league and how that looks in comparison to the Premier League. Manchester United have not been one of the teams who have had the most luck in the Serie A, but I think in terms of addressing technical ability and physicality across the leagues, we've most of the part not really got it bob on recently, and I think it's nothing against Patrick Dorgu as a player, but something historically that Manchester United have struggled with. And that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully now you can sort of understand why Manchester United have spent €30 million on a wing back for Ruben Amorim's first signing. And if you did like this video, please do like, comment and share it around with your friends, and we'll be back next week for some more Premier League reviews. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.